Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers here as we are every week to talk about interesting issues and to meet some interesting people. And today we're going to revisit an issue that deserves a revisitation.
It does. We're going to be talking about the people who actually supervise and administer the drug courts here in Oklahoma County. The drug courts are looked upon as an alternative to incarceration. And of course, we read all the time in the op-ed pages and the like about how crowded our jails are, how our prisons are crowded, and this is an alternative. And we've talked on this show, I don't know how many times, dozens probably, about the high incarceration rate of women. Most of the women who are incarcerated in Oklahoma are incarcerated because of drug offenses. And drug courts could be an option to loosen up some of that high incarceration rate and bring it back more into the norm. So we're going to be talking to the two people who in Oklahoma County probably know the most about it.
Drug courts, how do they work? It's all coming up today on The Verdict.
Driving rain, blistering heat, and bitter cold. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Chesapeake drills non-stop for natural gas on American soil. Chesapeake drills more new gas wells than anyone else, and from those wells collects the most drilling information and acquires more 3D seismic images, leveraging every efficiency to improve the odds of finding more natural gas every day with every well we drill. The better job we do of discovering bigger reserves of clean-burning American natural gas, the greater the prosperity of our nearby communities, our state, and our nation. And as long as there are more gas reserves to be found here in the U.S., we will never rest. Chesapeake. Natural gas wins the day.
Hi, this is James Garner.
Hi, this is Reba McEntire.
Hi, this is Johnny Bench.
Hi, I'm Barry Switzer.
Hey everybody, this is Vince Gill.
Welcome to my home state of Oklahoma,
where we'll be celebrating 100 years of statehood
in 2007.
Our strength is our people, and the 2,100 Oklahomans from the Cox Communications family are proud to be part of Oklahoma's story. Cox and Oklahoma, true partners.
Happy birthday, Oklahoma.
You would never give your 8-year-old daughter the keys to the car, but when you give her the computer keys, she can go anywhere in the world, some very dangerous places.
Every day, 1 in 5 children is approached online by a potential predator.
That's why Cox Communications makes it easy for parents to control what content their children can access. To learn more, visit cox.com/takecharge.
I'm proud to partner with Cox to safeguard our nation's children. Know where your child is going online. Remember, you're in the driver's seat.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Kent's going to introduce today's guests.
Very pleased today to have two individuals that know an awful lot about the drug court system in Oklahoma County. To my left is the Honorable Carol Hubbard, Special Judge, Oklahoma County since 1995. She did her undergraduate work at Southern Nazarene University and her law work at Oklahoma City University. She has had quite a career. She's been a teacher, a mother, a wife, a law clerk, a practicing lawyer, and now a judge. She's done it all, and she's saved the best for last. This is her first visit to The Verdict. Judge, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Across the table on my right is Ed Blau, Assistant District Attorney, Oklahoma County, an Elk City native, knew the O'Haras out there when he was growing up. He's an undergraduate and law graduate of the University of Oklahoma. He was with Bob Ravitz in the Public Defender's Office and is now with David Prater in the District Attorney's Office and is the Assistant District Attorney handling the drug court program. His first visit as well. Ed, welcome.
Very good to be here. Thank you.
I'd like to start with each of you talking about your personal involvement in the program. Judge, how did you get involved in drug court?
I heard a rumor around early June that they were going to take the drug court from 2 days a week and expand it to an entire week's worth of docket and enlarge its capacity significantly and include a DUI court program. I had been on the preliminary hearing docket, hearing felony criminal cases for about 6 years, and thought this might be a refreshing change. So I stepped down and volunteered one afternoon. About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, the administrative order went out that I would be assigned to this docket as of July the 1st. I've been pleasantly surprised, and I have been on a learning curve that has no curve to it as yet. It's pretty much just straight up. But with the help of people like Mr. Blau from the DA's office, it has been a fantastic experience.
And Ed, what's your personal experience?
Coming into the DA's office in February, I originally had a felony docket, and I asked to be moved over to the drug court docket. As Ken said at the beginning of this segment, I was in the public defender's office, so I had a lot of firsthand knowledge working with these individuals who suffered from terrible drug and alcohol addictions. Part of Mr. Prater's campaign when he was running for office was the expansion of this program. I felt coming into his office that this would be a very good opportunity for me to do whatever I could to help what I saw as a very good program and to help a lot of these same types of individuals I worked with when I was in the public defender's office. I've actually been over the drug court program since the 1st of March.
And the theory is, the reason you would have a drug court is because you understand that a person might need to be punished, but are they likely to return if we don't help them with their problem? And maybe we can combine the punishment with some sort of rehabilitation.
Drug court in and of itself, I don't necessarily think should be looked at as punishment. It's an option for them because within Oklahoma County's drug court, everyone was looking at prison. In many other counties throughout the state, the people that get into drug court are sometimes first, second-time offenders. When our court was started 9 years ago, it was developed to be a DOC diversion program. And as
Department
such,
of Corrections.
Yes, Department of Corrections. And as such, every single one of our current participants has 1, 2, or many cases, many more felony convictions than that. Because they're nonviolent drug offenders, drug court is primarily the best option for them rather than prison, that sort of thing. They go to prison for 3 or 4 years, don't get the adequate treatment that they need, and then get back out and are in the same place that they were before. Drug court gives them an opportunity to not only hopefully abstain and be free from drug and alcohol issues, but it gives them the opportunity to get the driver's license they haven't had in 10 years, to get the job that they haven't been able to get. Some interesting numbers are within Oklahoma County, when somebody pleads into the program, or the participants that plead in, there's 30% unemployment. Upon graduation, the unemployment is down to 4%. So not just the societal benefits from somebody being off drugs and alcohol, but also these people are working in the community, paying taxes, being productive members of society, and that's why drug court is much more than just drug and alcohol issues.
It seems obvious that people may have been arrested for possession of drugs might end up in drug court. What about people who are arrested for selling drugs? Are they likely to end up in drug court?
It just depends on the situation. We differentiate between what's called a true dealer and then somebody that's just dealing to support their habit. What we look at is when this person was arrested, did they have large amounts of cash on them? Look at their past. Did they have priors for drug trafficking, which they're automatically ineligible for the program? We look at all the factors involved, and if this individual seemed to be just dealing to support his or her habit, not for monetary gain, then that's somebody that we'll look at. Whereas those individuals who are actively spreading this poison to our community for their own financial gain, then those individuals need to go to prison, and that's where we try to put them.
Just briefly break into two categories: the types of offenses that one could be charged with that would make you otherwise eligible for the drug court program, and on the other hand, the types of offenses that would not make you eligible?
What drug court is set up for is nonviolent drug offenders, and as part of my job as the district attorney for drug court, I'm basically the gatekeeper. I'm the person that looks at their prior convictions, look at their current charges, and then makes the decision. We look at arrests, we look at contacts with law enforcement. Basically, the people that are absolutely statutorily prohibited from the drug court program are those individuals who have violent either prior convictions or current charges, robberies, rapes, manslaughters, things of that nature. However, those individuals who are eligible for the program are those with not only drug possession and minor drug crimes, but white-collar crimes, sometimes property crimes, those sorts of things. The ones where they're usually stealing or doing those sorts of things to support their habit. We look at pretty much everything the individual has done within the criminal justice system their whole life to make the determination whether or not this is the type of person we want in the program. We have a drug court team within the DA's office who, upon, let's say we've got a difficult question whether or not to allow somebody into the program, we meet and we talk about the different issues, that sort of thing. And ultimately, it's our office's decision whether or not somebody gets into the program. So these people that are in, these aren't the ones that are out committing the violent crimes. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who are writing the bad checks for drugs and doing things of that nature.
Need to get us to our first break. This time is going so quickly, I can't believe it. But yes or no, are there people who choose not to be a part of the program? Would they rather be dealt with criminally than enter drug court, or is that really unusual?
Very, very, very few.
Okay, that answers the question. We'll be right back. More on The Verdict. We're discussing drug court. You're watching The Verdict. We'll be right back.
Shining is taking responsibility. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, we know managing your health care can be overwhelming, and it's our job to help you meet the challenge. By guiding, supporting, and showing the way, we encourage you to gain control. Because we believe the best tool we can give you is the confidence to take charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, shining through.
Okiwani is an Indian name for a place where children play. When we obtained the camp, we found a lot of oil debris left in the woods. We saw a commercial about how the oil and natural gas industry cleans up old oil well sites. We called the OERB, and they agreed to remove tons of concrete and steel. It didn't cost us a thing. Thousands of children have left their footprints on this land. Thanks to the oil and gas industry, they will for a long time to come.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Hi, honey. You've got to check this out.
What? What are we listening to?
I had digital phone service installed today.
It sounds just like before.
I know, but it's going to save us a ton of money.
With Cox Digital Telephone, you'll save big every month. Keep your same phone number and get your favorite calling features. Just pay less.
That does sound good.
You should hear the upstairs phone.
Are you the one looking for an exciting new career? If so, we are the one looking for you. We are Cox Communications, and we are searching for field service representatives. FSRs interact and perform services at our customers' home. Sound like the job for you? Then some of the things you need are a high school diploma and a good driving record. But for complete job description and qualification, go to jobs@cox.com.
Welcome back to The Verdict. We're discussing drug courts, everything you ever wanted to know about drug courts but didn't know whom to ask. Today's your opportunity. Judge Carol Hubbard is our guest, along with Ed Blau. And I think we need to know, what are the major benefits of the drug court as opposed to going to prison? We've kind of touched on that, but Ed, what are the major benefits? Why have it?
That question can be answered in two ways. A major benefit of the program to the individual and a major benefit of the program to society as a whole. To the individual, drug court basically controls every aspect of their life. When somebody pleads into drug court, they sign a contract, and within that contract, it states that we can say where they live, where they don't live, where they work.
This is a binding contract?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It tells you where they can live?
We can tell them where they can't live, meaning if they are in an unhealthy environment, which most people who are addicted to drugs and alcohol, that's why they're in that position, because their friends do drugs, because their family members do drugs. We have very strict supervision guidelines within the Department of Corrections, Probation, and Parole. Every individual is assigned a probation officer who does home visits, who goes to their work, who pretty much knows everything about them to make sure that each individual can proceed on his or her path to sobriety the best way that they can. I spoke a little bit earlier about unemployment and how the 86% decrease from when somebody comes into drug court in Oklahoma County, the numbers that come in versus when they graduate. The average drug court's participants' income increases 76.2% from about $734 a month to about $1,300 a month. We make sure that these individuals can get on the right track, not just get off drugs, but move in the right direction. And that, of course, not only benefits them, but it benefits their families too. There's about a 20% increase in the number of our participants who, at the end of drug court, have custody of their children versus before. That's a major issue. Bringing families back together helps everybody, and that's a very important aspect of the program. It's really hard to overstate how much drug court can do for these individuals who have been to prison several times, for these individuals who have been homeless, who haven't been able to make it. We drug test them randomly up to 3 times a week. If they do test positive, there's automatically a sanction, usually 3, 4, or 5 days in the county jail. If they're 5 minutes late to court, they can get 4 hours of community service. What drug court is about is building a culture of responsibility and accountability within these groups of people that have not had the opportunity to have that. Not only that, but positive reinforcement. These people haven't had somebody to look them in the eye and say, good job, I'm proud of you, maybe in their whole life. And that's what we try to do, is when they're working hard, when they're making the effort, to make sure that we know and we appreciate what they're trying to do.
Let me ask you, Judge, I know that your resources are pretty well tied up into this. What other agencies besides your office and the DA's office are involved in supporting this program?
This program is a collaborative effort of many, many people. This is a program I've never seen the likes of, and I just think it is a wonderful place to be at this particular time. The District Attorney's Office is represented through Mr. Blau in the drug court program. In the DUI court program, Aaron Etherington represents the District Attorney's Office in that, because these are 2 separate programs that are operating now. We have the Public Defender's Office that has committed personnel and resources to the program. They represent, I would say, 99% of every individual in the drug court and DUI court program. Occasionally, the privately retained defense attorney that represented them up to that point and through the plea process will stay in the drug court program, but that is by far the exception and not the rule. DOC probation has committed a number of probation officers, and as Mr. Blau referenced, these are people out in the field watching over almost every aspect of the lives of the drug court participants. The court clerk has 2 individuals that work keeping records on all of this process. We have the drug court coordinator, who now has a staff of 3, to keep statistics such as the ones that Mr. Blau let you recited a moment ago, because all of this funnels into the Department of Mental Health, and we have to know how we are doing to gauge the effectiveness of the program. The Oklahoma City Police Department has committed personnel to this. Detective Vanessa Price has been instrumental in so many things that go on in this program. The Oklahoma County Sheriff has committed personnel to this. Then we have a multitude of treatment agencies that have contracted with the Department of Mental Health to provide services. They provide group counseling, they provide individual counseling. And all of us work together, and I tell people when they plead in, this is a non-adversarial process. You are not going to see the state lined up on one side with witnesses against you and your attorney at the other end of the courtroom. That is not the way it works. I tell them, every time you are on my docket, we meet, we talk about what you have done, what you have not done, what you need to do, and what we can do to help you along this road to sobriety.
Are these programs customized, or is it a cookie cutter approach?
No, they are customized. Our drug court coordinator reviews an assessment and matches the needs that are revealed in this assessment with the provider. And then, of course, we try to, on top of that, consider logistics, because great many number of our people don't have transportation. It's public transportation they're relying on. So it's as individualized as we can possibly make it. And here in Oklahoma County, we're blessed with a number of providers.
What do you still need? If you had a wish list, what do you need?
I need volunteers, and I do have a wish list. Well, for one thing, I would love to see us have a web page with links to the various agencies, and a web page that can capture the imagination of volunteers who might want to tutor either the defendant in drug court or possibly family members.
Tutor in what way? You're talking about reading ability?
Yes, and job skills. How, not only how to get a job, how to keep a job.
Mentoring.
Yes, mentoring. And then we have a project that I've referred to as Jeannie's Kids, the children of drug court participants who may need help with experiencing the joys of Christmas that otherwise wouldn't happen for them. And so we have just a lot of things that could be done to make life easier for these people who are struggling so hard to do all of these programs that we've talked about. And bear in mind, they're paying restitution, they're paying court costs, they're paying for this drug testing, and they're paying for treatment fees. This is a huge undertaking.
We have just a few seconds left. What about the children that are so affected by these types of crimes? How are they dealt with in your level?
If you're talking about the children of drug court participants, I do not come into contact with them. And Mr. Blau had mentioned some statistics regarding family unification, so that is a wonderful thing. What I can tell you is that at graduation, I see families that come together. I've seen daughters support their moms. It's just been wonderful in that respect.
That's, we're wrapping up this way too early. It seems like we just touched on the surface of it, but that's probably a good positive note to wrap it up on. Judge Carol Hubbard, good luck in your tenure in this position. And Ed Blau, thanks for your continuing service for Oklahoma County.
Thank you very much.
Kent and I'll have a final word after this.
Good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Our pledge as a company is to provide quality of service for our paying customers.
When you illegally hook up cable,
everyone pays.
Theft of cable can cause outages.
Sometimes poor reception.
We seek out illegal use.
and we prosecute offenders.
If you know someone not paying for service,
call us at 1-800-466-5590.
You could remain anonymous.
Cable theft. It's more serious than you think. It's a crime.
Oh, hi. I know you guys said I'd save with Cox Digital Telephone. Well, my bill came and... Could this be right?
You may be surprised how much you save with Cox Digital Telephone. That's why over 1.5 million people have switched.
So this really is a total. Lovely. Because I think I found a good use for the savings.
With Cox, there's no waiting for the other shoe to drop. The only surprise is there's no surprise at all.
We are back on The Verdict, wrapping up a show on drug court. We had Judge Carol Hubbard and Ed Blau from the Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office on, and discussing, what is really a growing opportunity. It really does seem not only ambitious, but fairly efficient.
Well, it has benefits to everybody in the equation, excuse me. But some numbers that I think are interesting to you. It costs $20,000 a year to incarcerate someone, $5,000 a year to run them through drug court, if you're worried about the money. Do they commit crimes again? 55% of those imprisoned do. 23% of those that go through drug court do. So substantial positive both ways.
And we want to give you some website information. If you'd like to be a volunteer and help them out in the drug court process, you go to our website and we'll give you an opportunity to sign up there. TheVerdict.tv is our website address, TheVerdict.tv. You can also tell us about a show you'd like to see on a future edition of The Verdict. We'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by the Production Services Group at Cox Communications, exclusively for the Cox Channel.